So
Exactly.
you've got it, making money on Kindle Vella, making money in on normal KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, ebook sales, etc. And then obviously you can put your book into paperbacks and hardbacks, or
that's right,
paperback and hardback everywhere. An audio book as well, which we didn't talk about. We were talking yesterday, but it's incredible, isn't it? So would you say
I'm still waiting on Reese Witherspoon to agree to do my audiobook. That's the goal.
Would you say that this works for other types of books, fiction and nonfiction? Would you say it works for?
Yeah, my book is a work of nonfiction, but I do not think nonfiction is the best way to go on Kindle Vella. I got lucky because my book actually does read like a novel, and it has a lot of layers to it because it's got this high sea swashbuckling adventure and fighting storms and battling seasickness, and will I make it through the storm, that kind of adventure, bucket list adventure, crossing the Atlantic Ocean in a sailboat. And then I also went to more than 15 countries on 4 different continents, and went to I love to explore, I love to travel, and so I got to describe for my readers all these exotic remote places that I visited and talk about the experiences that I had there. But the third layer is that it's a deeply personal book and a deeply personal story. And in the beginning, I wasn't exactly sure how much I would share, but in the end, I shared everything. And I was actually on this trip with a man who was mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and in the end, physically abusive. And it became a real story of survival. And I wasn't exactly how much detail I would give and how much I would tell, but in the end, I told the entire story. And I warn you, if you want to read it, some parts are very unsettling. And in fact, my son was my editor. He's a great content editor. And there were a lot of things that he didn't know before he edited the chapters. And I would tell him, this might be hard to read. And he just said, just keep writing, Mom, just keep writing, And so that was a great experience too, to work with him. But so the story reached a lot of different levels, but I didn't mean to chase that rabbit, but but to answer your question, I don't think nonfiction is the best way to go. The fiction stories are the ones that are doing the best. I think mine just happened to read like a novel. And so people wanted to keep reading, but the stories that are doing great are romances, mysteries, a lot of science fiction and fantasy, and stories about vampires and zombies and stuff like that. Ninjas, all that kind of stuff is doing great on Kindle Vella. The serial readers really love it. But I also want to say that there's a lot of pros and cons. One of the cons is that not all people love this platform. And I think that's another reason. If you do try Kindle Vella, some people didn't want to wait a week to read the next chapter. They're reading at 2:00 in the morning and they want to turn the page, and they have to wait a week to get the next chapter, and they didn't like that. Some people want the whole story and they want to read at their own pace. And if they want to knock it out in 1 day or 2 days, then they can. So I do think it's not for everyone, but it is for a lot of people. A lot of people love it. Some of the advantages are you can talk to your readers. At the end, there's a notes section, and you can say, what you went through to write that chapter, or talk about your writing process, or you can talk about what's coming next. Or, sometimes I gave them a warning, the next chapter is unsettling, read at your own risk. But, and sometimes I just talked about how that was hard to share, but, thanks for reading.
That's a great way of developing relationships with your readers, isn't it? Directly.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And then, and then other advantages too. And I really want to make sure I get this in. I didn't mean to cut you off, Caroline, but, is I was able to identify categories that I would not have used if I had just released the book as a book series as I intended, without testing it on Kindle Vella. I would have put it in the sailing category, which I already know because I have other sailing books. It's not a big category. It's not a money making.
We did some coaching around this, didn't we? Can you remember?
We did.
I said I don't think this is going to be the right sort of category, but actually you ended up reframing and going into categories around relationships,
Yes. Domestic abuse. Things like the self-help personal transformation category is certainly not a category I would have chosen. Yes, empowerment. I would not have chosen those categories, except that I got all this feedback from the readers about how that was what the part of the story that was touching them the most. You know, I thought it was a travel book. I thought it was a sailing book. I thought it was a bucket list adventure book. I didn't realize it was a self-help book. And so I was able to put my book in all these different categories. And that was another thing from that early advice that you gave me, Caroline, about how my category was too small in the beginning. The sailing category is small. And if I had only put the book there, I wouldn't have near as many readers. So that was a huge advantage of publishing on Kindle Vella first. And now I was able to release in my book in categories and it's ranking in those categories. And I would have never even thought to put them there. So I learned things about my own book.
It's amazing how you can sort of start down one road and then you decide that this is actually about much more than that, and then you end up going into profitable categories and making stacks as you are doing. And the interesting thing is how you then moved into, I know you're going to be writing your own mystery romance books. You were talking about one yesterday, and obviously many of us are outsourcing our work as well. And then the children's book. So Captain Jack and Scout. Captain Jack and Scott.
And Scout. Captain Jack is named after my favorite pirate.
Scout. Okay.
Captain Jack is
and Scout.
And Scout. Yeah. Captain Jack is named for my favorite pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean, Captain Jack Sparrow. And Scout is named for my favorite character in my favorite novel, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Who traveled with you on the boat?
Yep.
And who are going to be featuring, like you say, in your children's books that you're developing. Illustrating.
Right. Yeah, my son is illustrating those, so I get to work with him again, and he's just brilliantly talented. So I'm lucky there too. I also want to say, with Kindle Vella, I spent zero money in advertising. I probably need to say that.
Down. Yeah.
And I really heavily promoted it to social media. But to be fair, I did have an audience already because there were people that followed the voyage. And when it ended abruptly without explanation, and I never told them why, they were sitting there ready to hear the end of the story. So I did have some, but of course, a lot of people that I heard from that read the story, I didn't know, and they were new. So but I mostly promoted it on social media and with people I knew, and developed an audience that way. But building a list and doing book promos and things like that for the actual book series.
Yeah. So now if you were doing it again on Kindle Vella, 5 months on, what would you do differently in terms of the way that you use Kindle Vella?
It's a great question, and I have some really good answers. One thing is, so the chapters or episodes on Kindle Vella have to be at least 600 words long and no more than 5,000 words long. And most of my chapters are 5,000 words. And so they're very long chapters, which is okay. It's fine. But the bonuses are based on consistent uploading of content. So if I had broken some of those chapters down to maybe 1,000 words a piece, I would have had more chapters and made more bonus money, even more than I made, which I've been really happy with. But I would have made more because Amazon is really rewarding authors for consistently uploading a lot of content. So the people that I could still be uploading the story now if I had stretched it out a little bit. So that's one thing that I would certainly do differently. That's probably the big thing I would say. Yeah. Just to make it longer, and then I would also maybe I would have tried some ads just to see if I could find some more readers, because more is better, right? More is always better.
Yeah. You could do that now, though, couldn't you? You could do Amazon ads. Facebook
Sure,
ads
I
now.
can.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm pointing everybody to my book series, and but in the book series, I have my lead magnet in there. But I also say, if you want to read the whole thing on Kindle Vella, here's the link, so I can send people back to Kindle Vella if they want to read it that way. So I'm giving people options of how they would like to read. The people liked Kindle Vella like they were sitting in a doctor's office waiting on an appointment, and they had time to read a chapter. They really liked it for that. And the other thing on Kindle Vella is just to leave every chapter with a killer cliffhanger. So every single chapter had a cliffhanger because it made people they have to buy the next episode. So you want them to want to spend their money on the next.
So how long did you take between episodes? A couple of days?
I think the authors that are doing the best are posting 3 times a week on the same day. I didn't do that. That's another thing I would do differently. I posted sometimes 1 episode a week, sometimes 3 episodes a week, sometimes 3 on the same day. It just depended on what I had ready. Just as I wrote, I uploaded, and I didn't really have a solid, consistent plan. And I think if I did, like, people knew that the new chapter or the new episode was coming out on Monday, they would look for it on Monday, that sort of thing. I could have my readers could have had a little bit more consistency from me. And that's not something that I gave them, because honestly, it was motivation for me to write and to write the story. And if I had not used Kindle Vella, I don't know that I would have written the story yet, because I would finish the chapter and I would just be wiped out, because of course it's very emotional, and it's been a difficult story to write. And but I had readers saying, please post another chapter, I want to know what happens next. And that really encouraged me to write the next chapter and to get it done. And now it's done. And of course I've edited it more heavily now for the book, so that it's better than it was in the beginning. And so those are all things I would do better and differently. But
hey, that amount of money and that amount of time. And actually, don't you think that when you're doing anything, it's like when you're putting when you're publishing, first of all, your ebooks, even if you're not using Kindle Vella, the whole point of the learning experience is making not mistakes, but as you go on, you learn to do things differently, and you just get better and better and better. So when you put your mysteries on there, you're going to be able to do, like you say, shorter chapters, so you get more episode uploads, which is obviously what Kindle Vella, Amazon Live.
That's right.
That's amazing.
That's right.
Anything else?
We know now that that's what they want. Had I known that in the beginning, I would have done that differently. I would have stretched it out a little bit. But at the same time, I had readers who were so interested to know what happens next. I don't know. I think I was torn. I'm a little bit torn between my loyalty to my readers and wanting to give them what they want, and making money. There's a fine line there somewhere. But you want to do both. You can do both.
Absolutely. I love the fact that you've got that direct feedback on Kindle Vella, where you can have a conversation with your readers. That's just because you can't do that in the normal.
That's right.
On KDP, because you get reviews and you can comment on them, but you're
right. That's absolutely right.
Wow.
And sometimes the feedback that I got, I was able to actually think about that as I wrote the next chapters. And on Kindle Vella, you can't put a direct link, but you can put a URL that someone else can actually type in. And so I would include my email address. And so many people sent me emails saying that they were in a similar situation that I was in, and how my book helped them. And I just can't tell you how rewarding that was, more than the money or the success of the project. It was really nice
knowing
to be able
that
to
you're changing lives. You're helping people transform their mindset.
That's right.
And think, okay, well, if you can sort of survive that when you've got no access to anyone at home, you can contact your children. And if some people are feeling trapped, then it'll give them the confidence that actually there's a way, and a way forward, and good things can come of that, really challenging.
I hope so. Yeah, I certainly hope so. And I think it has. And some people that I was really surprised shared with me personal things that similar situations. And of course, some people I didn't know, but it sure was nice that it it touched someone. And now, you know, your book doesn't have to be transforming like that to touch people. Sometimes it's just entertainment. If you write a great mystery novel that just entertains somebody, then it takes them away from their normal life. Then you're doing a good thing. And we can't discount. We talk all the time about we want to make money, and that's of course important, and that's something we want to do. But our books touch lives. It doesn't matter the subject matter, because people read to escape.
Absolutely, and it's
we have to always remember we're doing that.
Yeah, and it's so rewarding when you know that, yeah, we're making money, but you're doing something that's really fulfilling and also helping other people, whether that's fiction, and you're helping them to brighten their day, or whether it's non-fiction where someone's sort of got something going on and they're going to learn from reading it. And I think that's so important. Okay, well, exactly. Have I persuaded you or bribed you to doing that? Just asked you to do some training on Kindle.
Oh, no, I've absolutely agreed to do that. Absolutely. I'm happy to do it. And I can dive into some more details in that session. We'll have a lot more time. And so I have lots more tips.
We're fingers crossed. So just remember, everyone, Kindle Vella's in the USA at the moment.
Right.
I think it will roll out probably to Australia, Canada, UK soon.
Right.
They're still testing it, aren't they? But we look forward to that training in the Fast Pass really soon. I want to say a massive thank you, Michelle.
Absolutely.
And guys, can we put in the chat # Superwoman, or Michelle is a Superwoman, because she really is. I'm going to just
thank you. Around. I'm proud to be in the Superwoman crew.
A heroine.
And Caroline, you're such an inspiration to me and to all of us, and to all those super women out there. I want to shout out to my group, Gabby and Andrea and Sarah Jane and Cassie, who we have a great support group. We help each other all the time. And it's a great group of women. And without them, I could not have launched my books. No way. And they're just the best. So shout out to those super women too.
Absolutely. And that's a really good point, because I've seen how many people are putting someone's saying they're a sailor as well.
Cool.
Michelle, # Superwoman. But that's a really important point that you've just mentioned that we didn't touch on. We were talking about this yesterday, weren't we? How I really encourage you all, male or female, it's not just about superwomen, super men too, to get together in accountability groups within our community. There are so many people in our community, and I didn't do that, you know. I never did that at the beginning. And you can fire off each other. You meet once a week, don't you, on Zoom?
Yeah, we meet once a week, and then we have a group chat that we are on all the time, and we just help each other. It's so great. Sometimes somebody else will ask a question that I need the answer to, and I'm learn something from the answer. It's such a great group of people, and we're all at different places in our publishing business. And so the girls that are ahead of me really help me, and then I'm able to help the others. And it's a great give and take.
So I just love each other. Yeah,
I
absolutely. So guys, find your accountability partners and set up your groups, because it's phenomenally beneficial, isn't it? For sure.
Absolutely. It's about so valuable. Please do that.
So thank you for today, Michelle Seagrass.
My pleasure.
It's been lovely talking to you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Hey. Thanks, everybody.
This has been amazing. Let's give Michelle and Caroline, Coach Caroline, a big thank you. Let's give them a big thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Wasn't this amazing? Wow.
Thank you.
Michelle, that was awesome. Thank you. And I didn't realize you were in Alabama. Wow. So, okay, you're not too far. Awesome. So, guys, what did you think? Michelle's a sweetheart, right? So this is why it's so important to have a community. I mean, you get someone like Michelle that comes in, and Michelle, I think you were at the July KCF Live. Was that your first one, or was it September?
I was at both.
Oh, both. Okay, so July was your first one, right?
July was my first one, and then I was at the other one as well. I've been to all of them since July.
Very cool, very cool. And Caroline, thank you for doing such an amazing interview.